may feel like David, you may feel like Hannah from Samuel, where everybody else's life is prospering. They're getting everything they want, but for you, it seems like nothing's working out, nothing's prospering, nothing's coming to pass right now. And God may have spoken some things to you, and He may have promised you some things like David. David was anointed, he was going to be king, and David was super faithful to God. He was out in the field while his brothers was doing whatever, but he was being faithful to God. He was watching over the sheep. I guarantee you there was times where David was like, dang, I feel forgotten. I feel like nobody cares about me. You know, his brothers and his family may have thought he was foolish, that he was the foolish one that God didn't care about. But God takes the foolish people to shame the wise. And you may be tending to feel like David is, and seem like you're forgotten, but God has never forgotten you. If you just keep staying faithful, you will reap a harvest. You will reap a great harvest if you just keep staying faithful to God and just keep trusting in His timing. Right now, it may not come to pass yet because He's still trying to teach you some things. He's still trying to get some things in place and ready for you. For Hannah and David, it took a long time for their promises to come to pass. Everybody was having kids, and Hannah didn't have that happening for her. She was upset, but she cried out to the Lord, and the Lord heard her prayer, and it happened. David, he was going to be king, and Saul didn't like that. Saul was chasing him multiple times. It was years on years until he became king, until Saul passed away, and he was crowned king. But God was faithful to finish what He started. And for you, God is faithful to finish what He started, because God is the same always. And God is a faithful God. And God loves you. God has plans to prosper you, give you hope in the future. So do not be discouraged, and keep on practicing faith and patience. If you just keep trusting God and just keep trusting the things He said to you and He's declared on your life, the words of the Lord that have been spoken to you, it will come to pass in due time, due season, when it's His appointed time. Sometimes we get so upset because we're like, God, why hasn't it happened yet? You spoke this word to me last week and it hasn't even came to pass yet. You spoke this word to me a year or 2 years ago and it still hasn't came to pass yet. But sometimes the biggest and best things for you from God take a long time to come to pass, but they are worth it. Just keep staying faithful.